It's Aster's Coder Exposure Month! Oh yeah! Aster's Coder Exposure the musical, anybody? Hey guys, it's Amy here back again with another video. It's July, so we are kicking off the book birthday month. It's been 1 year since my book baby came out, Aster's Coder Exposure. You can buy it now for $1 ebook in the description on most sites. And since then, a lot of you are new here. I think I went from in a year from 70 to 120 subscribers. This is a good chance to reintroduce everybody to my book. And what better way than J.M. Celi's debut novel tag? I've been itching to do this tag for a long time, and now I can finally do it thanks to the power of birthdays. 10 questions about my writing progress for this novel and what I did in it, obviously, and my next steps. Also, quickly, before we dive into the tag, we have got the live stream coming up July 24th at 11 AM New Zealand time. For most of you, it will be July 23rd because time zones. Convert that how you will. There's gonna be games, there's gonna be chapter readings and quizzes. Lots of stuff going on for you to be able to win signed copies, bookmarks, character art, and more. And there's also going to be some giveaways going on my Instagram and TikTok, so be sure to follow me down there so you don't miss out. But now let's just get into the juicy part, the stuff that you've came here for, the tag, where you find out, again, about my book. Number 1, tell us about your debut novel. If you haven't seen the outro of my video, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, because I mention it in every video. Shame on you, but I'm also gonna mention it again because I really want you guys to know about this. Aster's Coda pushes you into the fantasy version of Men in Black after the death of Abby Tacker's mother. It is then within the 3 worlds that she discovers the mist-wielding Telks with the powers to control minds and do telekinesis and stuff. The Fury-charged Emerages, which are these beasts of just pure hatred. And of course her own share of electrifying powers after an otherworldly kidnapping. She must wield these powers as she learns of a blood feud that she is involved in, and how she must find enemies right under her nose and friends in the unlikeliest of places. And that's basically the plot of book 1, Exposure. There are 4 more books in the series. The second one, very close to having the first draft finished. Question 2, are you going for traditional publishing or self-publishing? I went indie publishing for one main reason. New Zealand publishing houses are not fond of fantasy. Furthermore, there's a bunch of stuff within my books that aren't to market. There isn't a single hint of romance within the first book. It takes place in New Zealand, which people only want to know about if it's in a contemporary setting. And for a young adult, it is kinda gritty. And of course, there's the age that I was when I published this book, a young and fresh 21. Number 3, what's the current status of your work in progress? It's 1 year old, published. This is a little bit obvious. I mean, why wouldn't you know? You're watching this video. You saw my intro. If you didn't know that by now, you must have the perception of a goldfish. Number 4, how long have you been writing it? The version that has been currently published was 5 years in the making, but technically it was... Whoa, that's almost 10 years in the making. I had a very early and not at all cohesive or good version of this novel published on a Wattpad account, which has since been deleted. I ended up taking it down after I reworked it a bunch in 2017 or so, because I realized I could, publish it, make money off it, make money off doing what I love. Do you realize how cool that is? So that would be 4 years on Wattpad, 2.5 years drafting, and then 2 years of editing before I was able to, get it properly published and out into the world. Number 5, what earlier works were put on the back burner to make way for this book? This particular novel didn't really have any moments like that, mainly because of how I wrote it like properly from like 2017. This very much became my pride and joy from when I started it, because whenever I decided to try any other writing projects, my brain and my heart would always go back to Aster's Coda. I wasn't really writing anything else at the time. Number 6, what was the most challenging part about writing this novel? The beta reading process for sure. My first round of betas all but abandoned my book. Some of them not because they didn't like it, they had, stuff to do with their life getting in the way that they weren't able to commit. And then some of them just ghosted me outright, and oh my god, back then I doubted myself more than ever. Because it was such a high all the way from that moment. Like, my critique partners, they said I was doing a great job, that I was getting really good feedback that I thought was fixing it, and then of course I hit my low straight after that. The second time was way better though. That being said, I think I'm always going to be skeptical of beta readers from here on out. Number 7, what was the most fun part about writing this novel? What wasn't? Well, the beta reading process, we've already covered that. But if I had to just pick one fun moment, I think it would be writing chapter 9, or what is published as chapter 9 now. Because I have a very distinct memory when I finished writing that chapter. I was finishing it, and then I lifted my hands off the keyboard, and they were shaking. I felt so powerful. Godlike, basically. And that was a moment where I realized that I was doing what I wanted to be doing. That this was a passion that I wanted to pursue, and I will hold on to that moment more than ever as one of my favorite moments of all time was writing that chapter and seeing how exhilarating that could be. Number 8, what did you learn during the writing process? A lot would be the short answer. I couldn't pinpoint anything exactly because of how long the story was in the works. As I was writing it, I was learning how to do my creative writing stuff better, both in high school, through YouTube, through workshops. A lot has changed since I first decided to write this story idea. Though I was really a fan of studying character arcs and narrative, that stuff came up a lot during my schooling and my studies. There was an entire term where we learned about that stuff in high school. There was an entire paper about that stuff in university. But I think the most valuable thing that I have learned is the ability to identify filler words and to be able to tell what I need to tell in a more concise way. Number 9, if you could go back in time, what would be the 3 things that you would tell yourself while writing this book? Now you're gonna get this published, girl! I genuinely wouldn't have been as passionate into the craft if I didn't realize how accessible publishing could be. Not that I'm into it for the money. I was excited about writing before I knew I could be published, but this would have gotten me even more hyped. It was a very late dream or ambition for me compared to other people. I would have also told my Wattpad self to edit before publishing, because it was so bad and I didn't even realize it. Don't worry, I did edit it before it, got actually published. And during the beta process, I would have just constantly reassured me that there are people out there who love my work. It's still so crazy to think there are people out there that actually like my book. And number 10, will your next novel be a sequel or a completely new piece of work? It's a sequel, and it's very, very close to being done. At the time of filming this, I've literally got 2 chapters left, the climax chapter and the resolution chapter. I already know a bunch of what needs fixing, but I need to take a break from it when it's done, and I'm going to be having a little discussion about that at the end of the month when I actually finish it. But yeah, after that I'm having a break from a series with a new project, which I'm also going to be announcing later this year. It's going to be my first video of August announcing my brand new writing project. But anyway, the sequel to Aster's Coda, it's cool. It dives more into the Sub-Rosa and Abby's family history, which are very sort of touched on but not deep dived parts of the first book, because Abby's still of course trying to get her grip around the 3 worlds. Plus we've also got some cool characters such as Tyrell, Frey, and Dina. I love them all. They are all great. You're gonna love them as well. And thus finishes my debut novel tag questions. If you want to try out this tag for yourself, all the information is down in the description, and also be sure to check the description to buy my book for $1 now that you know more about it, and come to the live stream on January 23rd/24th, depending where you live. Like this video and subscribe if you're new around here. You can ring that bell to find out when I post more creative content. And happy book birthday! It's a bit early, but happy book birthday, Aster's Coder Exposure! One more reminder that the ebook is available for $1. Get it now, you do not want to miss out. And check out my description for my Instagram, my Fiverr, my TikTok, and my website. Stay creative, everybody, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.